So this has been a problem with many miraculous ladybug viewers. The identity thing. MLB's one major flaw. Why can't anyone recognize the two heroes? Like, what the heck? They have pretty much the same hair, body, voice, and eye color? What is wrong with you people? Well, at least Adrian's not as easily recognized as Cat Noir. I mean, I forget they're the same person sometimes. Ladybug's more frustratingly obvious. Anyway, my friend was actually so bothered about the identity thing that it was an instant turnoff for him for the show. Like, the story was still good, but he enjoyed it less due to that logic. But actually, for me, I wasn't really bothered by it. I don't know, it's just a normal thing to see for many TV shows and movies. I was just into the show for its plot, its romance, and its amazing characters. Cat Noir, I love you so much. But anyway, it doesn't mean that I won't try to provide an explanation for it myself, and clear any of the confusion and lack of understanding I have about it. And in the meantime, I should try to explain it to you guys too while I'm at it because many people are salty. So here we go! Oh, and don't say that it's just a kid show. Don't pull that on me. Okay, I have 3 main reasons or possibilities for why
people are blind.
Number 1, they're all dumb and blind. Number 2, well, the explanation is simply that there's no explanation. Like I said not too long ago, it's just a normal thing to see for many TV shows and movies. Yeah, I encounter cases where characters are half-wits all the time. It's become a trope. It's become a normal thing, just like cartoon characters in some shows not dying after being flattened with a heavy object or falling off a cliff. Those things don't require explanations, it's just a thing. Some of the TV shows I can list off the top of my head are Sailor Moon. They don't even wear masks, like, are you kidding me? At least they have masks covering like 1/3 of their face in this show. Well, there's Tuxedo Mask, but yeah, that's also a pathetic disguise, just like in the show. But I mean, the denseness of people in the show is nothing new. Superman. Yeah, of course. What disguise is this even? It's glasses. That's worse than these masks. The Incredibles. Same logic as MLB. Well, Tony Reidinger did recognize Violet's voice and see something familiar with her, but no one who knows Helen Parr recognizes that she's Elastigirl? Come on. Tony, you have golden eyes, and Brian. American Dragon. Jake Long as a dragon basically still looks like Jake Long. Look at that conspicuous hair. At least Rose is more acceptable. Cartoons. Literally, all it takes is a wig, a mustache, a nice outfit, and sunglasses or something, and you're instantly someone else. Also, you can dress up like a man and no one would know thanks to the magic trench coat. Okay, I think I illustrated the idea enough. And I know some of these shows may have a separate explanation of their own, but that doesn't matter. I mean, later the creators may realize that they need to explain things, so they answer the question about why certain characters can't be recognized, but at first they might have just left things as they are, just like in MLB right now. Because why decide to make Clark's face so obvious in the first place, right? Okay, anyway, the main point is that MLB might just be following a trope. This is fictional. It ain't real life. Okay, honestly, the second explanation is a little boring, so stay with me, okay? I'll try to explain this identity thing in another, better way. Like, what if the explanation for MLB is not just because there's a trope, but there's more to it? Actually, it seems like it's not just a trope because the creators do drop info here and there related to the identity thing. Okay, time to really look at things. Número 3. This is the best explanation I can come up with after considering all possibilities, and that is magic. Yes, it might sound stupid maybe, but for real, it's magic. The only way, the only reason. Hear me out though again, hear me out. Oh, but it's not just magic though that causes the identity illusion. That's part of it, but several other factors contribute too. Wait, before I start, there's this idea that because the personalities of Elby and Cat are so different from their alter egos, that's why people can't recognize them. Personality alone cannot fool anyone if the looks are still there. That is, if we're viewing this like it's not following the TV trope mentioned before. For example, if you see, like, your classmate or something in school as a very quiet, shy person, and then during the talent show they wear a mask and sing super loud and act all crazy, you still know it's the same person and are surprised about it even though they acted completely different from before. Only a mask and a different personality can't hide your appearance, seriously, especially from people that see you all the time like the characters in the show. But you might bring in Ladybug and Cat Noir's minor changes in appearance as part of the argument, like how Adrian's eyes change when he becomes Cat Noir, his hair gets longer, he gets more tan, stuff like that, and Ladybug's hair gets a little darker. But okay, if that same classmate in the talent show showed up at a masquerade with a different hairstyle, you can still tell who it is, right? And seriously, even though Ladybug's hair is a little darker, she still basically looks the same. 𝗀𝗀 at least looks much more different, so for the appearance aspect, I'm talking more about Ladybug's appearance here, and also Queen Bee and Carapace later. I mean, at first glance, what disguises are those? Ha! So, I don't think the very minor change in appearance really helps. Personality is definitely a part of it, which I'll go into more detail later, but that's not the main explanation. The main explanation is magic. How do I know? A. The miraculous are magical, so in the same way, the identities could be magically hidden. And whoever's in charge of giving out the miraculous at each different time cannot ensure that the miraculous holders will have totally different personalities, which further goes against the idea that the personalities alone hide the identities. To make sure that people can't recognize whoever the heroes are, there must be magic in the picture in the first place. Like Master Fu, he just gave the miraculous to Adrien and Marinette because they're kind and ready to help people. When he gave the miraculous to them, he didn't know that clumsy Marinette would be brave as Ladybug like we see her now, or that quiet perfect model boy Adrien would be funny in cat noir form. He literally just met them and made the decision on the spot. It's important to keep identities hidden to be safe from enemies. And of course the miraculous holders are probably told to be careful about how they act to not give things away, but they can't be told to act a certain way all the time, like pretending to have a whole different personality. So yeah, to repeat, in case the miraculous holder doesn't have a crazy different alter ego, there must be a way to make sure people can't recognize them, apart from telling them to be careful not to reveal who they are through some of their actions and words. B. People who knew Mr. Damocles recognized him. So I'm talking about the classmates. The other citizens didn't know Mr. Damocles at first, so they didn't know what the identity of the owl was.
The owl is none other than the principal of Francois Dupont High School, Mr. Damocles.
I'm sure Mr. Damocles seemed to know enough to keep his identity hidden by not revealing anything obvious through his words, and he genuinely believed that no one knew who he was.
Sorry, Hello?
Is this the owl?
Who is this? How do you know my secret identity? You've revealed my secret identity.
He's a principal. I believe he has enough sense for that, and he'd be careful not to give himself away. And they never showed that he revealed anything. It's just like minor glancing around, but that's literally it. And somehow, it's so obvious that the owl is actually him to the others.
We're sorry, Mr. Owl.
Even though he acted differently and unprofessional, unlike the serious principal that he is. Why? Probably because the outfit is too obvious. Even with that mask, they can tell who he is. They didn't have an explanation for why the classmates knew who he was either, so it's probably self-explanatory that his appearance isn't hidden by his outfit. But then, the classmates don't recognize Ladybug or 𝗀 𝗀, even if they have only a mask on like Mr. Damocles. So, people aren't dumb, I guess, but miraculous magic did the trick.
We're real superheroes.
With real superpowers and magic suits.
C. In the Lady Wi-Fi episode, Lady Wi-Fi couldn't pull off Ladybug's mask.
Because it's magic?
If magic's the explanation for that, it might likely also explain why people can't recognize them. It's like showing that the mask itself has magical properties, which could include more than not being able to be pulled off of the heroes' faces. D. Some magic rules for the miraculous holders is probably the same as the akumas. And there seems to be a connection because even if akumas look very similar to their civilian form, people really don't have a clue who they are, just like how people can't see who 𝗀 and 𝗀 𝗀 are. 𝗀 and 𝗀 can only tell who the akuma victims are when they say something that gives them away, or when they're seen with a characteristic object. For example, 𝗀 𝗀 recognized stormy weather because of her parasol.
Hey, that girl reminds me of someone.
It's her! The Akuma must be in her parasol.
And Aurora's parasol probably became iconic in her time auditioning for Weather Girl, because she even got a photo with it and she holds it around there on TV. Plus, since she was auditioning for Weather Girl and stormy weather's power alters weather, it makes sense if 𝗀 𝗀 realized it was her. To continue, Adrian recognized the bubbler because he said something about Gabriel being away when he brought a party to Adrian.
Hey, birthday boy! Guess what? Daddy's gone. While the cat's away, the mice will play.
Nino?
When, at the beginning of the episode, Adrian told Nino about his strict father being a buzzkill and not letting him have a birthday party. And also, yeah, Nino knew that it was Adrian's birthday.
Has your dad always been such a downer? I know you don't want Adrian to have a party, but it's his birthday, dude. I mean, sir.
Ladybug recognized the mime by seeing his hat.
That looks like Mulan's dad's hat. Oh no! Mr. 𝗺𝗺𝗃?
She recognized Lila when she said something familiar that Ladybug said to her before.
But at least now you won't be able to say we don't know each other. Lila?
So again, the Akumas are morphed into another appearance with magic so that they're unrecognizable to the people of Paris. And the miraculous must work in the same way because people react the same when it comes to identities. Oh, but just as a side thought, it doesn't mean that miraculous powers are exactly the same as Hawkmoth powers. The miraculous holders themselves must have more powerful magic on them, because if Hawkmoth had the same magic, he'd be too powerful. So that's why there are exceptions for him, like that the Akumas have one object that makes them easily recognized, which could break. That explains things because it might also be why 𝗀̱cie and 𝗀 recognize the Akuma victims far more easily than each other. Oh, by the way, I just thought of this connection. I saw it somewhere on Pinterest. But, like, that one post said that maybe the Akuma's special objects are like Hawkmoth's versions of miraculouses, but they are less powerful. Super cool. But, like, right, you can further see a connection between the miraculous holders and the Akumas and concealing magic. Okay, anyway, finally, E. People can't tell how old 𝗀̱cie and 𝗀 are, even if they clearly have the build of teenagers, which must be a result of magic. It can't be anything else. Like, okay, usually you can look at a person, even if they have a mask on or something, and tell that they're a teenager, an adult, or a child. But no one in this show has a clue. So if it's ages, it's definitely magic. Like, in 𝗀̱cies, 𝗀̱cie used a voice app to identify Ladybug's voice as a teenage girl's voice. So she couldn't tell around how old she was just by looking, and also just by hearing her voice as Ladybug. Also, Theo fell for Ladybug. Well, he might just be a creepy pedo, but if 𝗀̱cie doesn't know 𝗀̱cie's age, then it's probably the same for him. No, this destroys everything! Based on that fact, Ladybug and 𝗀 don't even know each other's ages! 𝗀 might be liking a 40-year-old and not know it! Luckily, she's a teenager like him. To continue, I want to attempt to explain what exactly this magic does and how it properly works to answer any questions you might have because of apparent inconsistencies with this idea. I also had doubts about the magic idea because of certain scenes in this show, but I really thought about these things, and now I'll prove to you that the answer can only be magic. If the people of Paris aren't stupid, that is. 1. Ladybug and 𝗀's voices are unrecognizable and don't sound the same as when they are Marinette and Adrian. Parts in the show that show this is again when 𝗀̱cie needed to analyze Ladybug's voice using the app to find out that it belonged to a teenage girl, which also reveals that it sounds different from Marinette's voice. And also when 𝗺̱cie covered Adrian's mouth to keep him from talking in Dark Owl after the two heroes said masks off, as if to keep his identity hidden. But an inconsistency with this idea that you might think of is that Ladybug heard 𝗀's voice and believed it was Adrian talking, like behind the door in 𝗀്પિના and in this scene in 𝗺ിficator.
Adrian?
Yeah, I'm fine!
Well, along with the magic of the masks, I think there are certain rules to this whole magic thing. One of which is that if they want to make their voices sound like their civilian form, they can do that and still pass. So if the miraculous holders want to sound like their civilian selves, they can somehow bend the magic to make it work for them without even knowing it. Two, the magic messes up how you see eye color. Remember in Dark Cupid when Marinette read Adrian's love letter for Ladybug?
Your hair is dark as night, your pretty bluebell eyes.
This one really bothered me at first because if Marinette has bluebell eyes, and Adrian also has bluebell eyes, which aren't a common color because 𝗺̱cie implied it,
There are plenty of girls at school with dark hair and blue eyes.
Yeah, but bluebell eyes?
then how can Adrian, who sees Mary and 𝗀̱cie almost every day, not recognize that they're the same? Stupid child. Well, I took magic into account, and literally this is the best way that I could explain it. either this or reason number 1. Seriously, magic provides the only sensical way you can interpret it. How do you explain it otherwise? I think that Marinette has bluebell eyes, but she might see herself as Ladybug with a slightly different eye color. And Tiki also sees Marinette's normal eye color, which is why they didn't even make a connection that Adrien could be talking about Ladybug in the poem, and that maybe, just maybe, he could even be Cat Noir. Especially again because the bluebell eyes are uncommon. I think that the magic also works so that Adrien sees Ladybug with bluebell eyes, but Marinette with a slightly different eye color. It's not that magic can't hide identities, because it doesn't do its job if Marinette and Ladybug have the same eye color. I believe that they do have different eye colors, and magic made sure of that. It would make sense since Cat Noir's eyes also change. Okay guys, it's either this, or the boy has an IQ of a nut. 3. Okay everyone, now I'll talk about Chloe in the Ladybug outfit. Magic doesn't seem to work because people can't recognize her when she's wearing a normal outfit, right? Let's investigate. I'll first go over more rules for this magic thing, and more of how it might work before I can explain Chloe. First off, I think it causes everyone to be affected by prosopagnosia when they see the heroes. Prosopagnosia is an actual disorder, and those affected literally cannot recognize faces. It's because a part of their brain doesn't work to allow them to distinguish one face from another and be like, oh, Big Shock is not Kanye West. I'm serious. Search it up. Brad Pitt has prosopagnosia. Those affected by this disorder must rely on voice, hair, type of clothing, how people act, other visual characteristics that isn't the face, and logic to distinguish one person from another. But it's just the face they can't understand though. Everything else in their brain works fine. And that seems to be the case with our miraculous characters. They can't all have prosopagnosia for real though, because come on, how common is it that all of them, family and friends, are affected by that disorder? But it's completely possible with magic, which makes it impossible for anyone who looks at Ladybug and Cat Noir to connect the faces of the two heroes to others. Also, it's not just prosopagnosia that they're affected with. The magic also makes the case more severe so that it's not just the face, but people can't tell who's who with voice and age. And colorblindness or something when they look at the eyes. But for some reason, they can still see the hair as it is because of Frightening Gale. However, you guys get me, right? It makes complete sense. But the only problem is this statue of the heroes here. Someone please explain why Theo has the eyes of the gods, but can't even tell how old Ladybug is, like what even? It might be an error, but I'm still going to stick with the explanation of magic because it's what makes the most sense so far. Maybe like even if they see Cat Noir and Ladybug as they are, the magic causes them to just be unable to make any connections whatsoever. Or Ladybug and Cat Noir might look different to the characters with the magic cloaking, but this is how they look to us, which is without the magic. I'm using my imagination, you guys. Don't hate on me for unrealisticness. I mean, I can't know how it really works. I can only guess. But I definitely think that magic's involved. Second rule. Given that the magic makes it impossible for people to put 2 and 2 together just by looking at Ladybug's face and then Marinette's face, or Cat Noir's face and then Adrien's face, it seems that the people of Paris can only make more connections between the heroes and who they could possibly be more easily when they have the hero outfits on. It doesn't mean that they could instantly tell their identities when Marinette and Adrien have Ladybug and Cat Noir outfits on. Like, the outfits alone don't guarantee 100% recognition, but it makes people more suspicious. I think to have them recognize a combination of looks and a matching personality or a very clear specific sign would do the trick. One case showing this is in Lady Wi-Fi where Alia drew a Cat Noir outfit on Adrien so that she could see that he kind of looks like Cat Noir. Alia probably drew him in the first place for fun, or because Adrien acted some way like Cat Noir to make her suspect him, but she only made the connection after drawing the suit on, and didn't point it out to Marinette with just a plain photo of him. Also, in Frightening Gale, more people made the connections that Marinette and Adrien kind of look like Elby and Cat Noir when they had their suits on, while really no one even suspects much by seeing them dressed differently every day in school. But even though they look so similar to the two heroes, in the ending, Alia said that even though they kind of look similar, they act too different, or something like that, as if the appearance wasn't evidence enough. Also, the Kwamis didn't exactly show worry about the fact that the two would dress like Ladybug and Cat Noir. Plag was like super chill after Adrien expressed concern that people might recognize him when he puts the Cat Noir mask on. Now, you might say that Plag is just irresponsible, but I believe that he does in fact have his responsibilities in mind. Recall Siren when he wouldn't tell Adrien about Master Fu, even though he was bribed with the finest cheese and suffering. He also never said anything that could reveal Ladybug's identity after he saw who she was in Dark Owl. The only reason Plagg could be so chill is that he knows that the identity still won't be obvious to people because, first of all, magic conceals it, and second of all, even if the costumes will hint at things more, if they act different, people will still have trouble recognizing. Next, you might say that 𝗀്cie was concerned about it, but they never showed that 𝗀്cie was worried if Mary dressed up like Ladybug per se, but just about the fact that she might do something to reveal her identity, and the combination of outfit and personality would be dangerous. So the outfit would be more risky.
I'd never do anything that could reveal my secret identity.
Are you lying?
All right then, Marinette. I'm proud of you.
When she actually saw Marinette in the outfit only, she also didn't express concern that she was dressed like that. Only Marinette did. All 𝗀്cie did say was that it's similar to the real thing, but she wasn't concerned about that fact specifically.
Great choice of fabric. And these seams, amazing craftsmanship, almost like the real thing.
If they see me with this mask on, they're all gonna recognize me for sure. There's no way I can wear it.
Now back to 𝗀്cie. If the hair doesn't change, then anyone can recognize that 𝗀്cie's hair is different from Ladybug's. But if the magic causes prosopagnosia, then they still have no idea what Ladybug's face could look like, and it could look like 𝗀്cie's. The reporters don't seem surprised that it was 𝗀്cie because they don't know exactly who she is. They might have seen that she's the mayor's daughter, but not remember her face exactly, and they don't know her enough to question that this brat is Ladybug. Also, I don't think that no one except Jagged Stone realizes that Ladybug's hair was different, but Jagged Stone was just the only one to point it out. Everyone else is more focused on interviewing him here, and Jagged's just the type to point stuff out.
There's nothing rock and roll about that show. My fans will never watch it. Check out this edible guitar I made from scratch. Penny, stop. It's not so rock and roll.
And I think they instantly assume that she's Ladybug because only Ladybug can have a suit with that quality with the same weapons. Yes, 𝗀്cie's rich, so she got a really professional suit done, but if no one really knows what Ladybug looks like, anyone with the exact costume could be Ladybug to them. I mean, okay, pretend that Spider-Man, from the movie, has his face covered, but his hair showing and it's brown. Stupid, I know, but... Imagine if you saw him, okay, with the same outfit and legit tech, but with blonde hair now, but the outfit and weapons aren't actually legit because it's a really good fake and that's not actually Spider-Man. But without knowing that, you would assume at first that it's Spider-Man, but he just got his hair dyed. I know this is a ridiculous example, but I just wanted to use it because you can really imagine the suit quality when you think of a live action. Okay, anyway, so I think the recognizing for 𝗀്cie or anyone dressed up in a professional hero outfit goes one way. People that know 𝗀്cie and see her in the Ladybug outfit will think that she's Ladybug, but if they see Ladybug only, they can't deduce that Ladybug looks like 𝗀്cie, because they don't know what her face looks like. So 𝗀്nor was able to recognize 𝗀്cie dressed as Ladybug because he could see that it was her, in an almost exact outfit with the right weapons, and Ladybug could be anyone to the people, so it could be 𝗀്cie. Plus, who knows, what if 𝗀്cie is Ladybug, and she wears a wig so it's less obvious? People could think of these possibilities if magic probably causes them not to be able to recognize faces. Oh yeah, and in Frightening Gale, everyone recognized 𝗀്cie in the Ladybug outfit.
You can go home now. Heads up. Brat alert in the immediate vicinity.
Don't worry. Knowing Nightingale, 𝗀്cie doesn't...
So when does the shoot begin?
𝗀്cie,
She was mean, so her attitude could have revealed to them that she's 𝗀്cie, but in the auditions, any mean brat could appear, so people can't instantly assume that anyone with an attitude is 𝗀്cie. There must be a clear way that they see it's 𝗀്cie, which is just that they can recognize her face. But in Frightening Gale, no one thought that she's Ladybug because even if the people know that anyone could be Ladybug, they know that it's a Ladybug audition, so they don't instantly think that anyone who dresses like Ladybug is her. Of course not! While in Lady Wi-Fi, the outfit seems rare, so people can assume that a random blonde girl could be Ladybug. Are you guys following? Boy, this is sometimes so hard to explain. You're making this identity thing so complicated, you guys! Or maybe I just suck at putting my thoughts into words. And I can't help but repeat things sometimes because, I feel like I didn't explain well enough. Sorry.